That's right, Moto fans. It's another Always Moto production, and I'm your host, David Hogan, the Australian physiotherapist that covers all of the injuries in our sport of Supercross and Motocross, and we're here with another edition of the Emergency Department. This episode of the Emergency Department is brought to you by Leatt Moto Australia. Check them out at leattmoto.com.au. Anaheim 1 has been run and won by Jet Lawrence, but we're not here to talk about the winners. We're here to talk about the injuries that have occurred, unfortunately. At Anaheim 1, there was 9 injuries for this opener that we know about at this stage. We're still getting more information through. This is in comparison with 11 in 2023, 7 in 2022, and only 3 in 2021. Some things to note straight off the bat. Let's jump straight into that rumors that are swirling around the Star Racing Yamaha rider of Hayden Deegan. There's rumors that he has an injury, but at this stage, they are exactly that. They are rumors. We don't have any confirmation from anyone close to Hayden at all. We will bring you more if we find out anything, but at this stage, it's just a rumor. We'll find out more as the season progresses. Some reports coming through on other media sources for some other injuries. Pulp MX show this week had some reports of Team PRMX rider Aaron Tanti heading back to Australia to get some surgery done on a shoulder injury that was sustained in a crash pre-season. We'll check in with Aaron more once he's back in Australia and find out what the updates are and what his return timeframes are once this is all done. All right, some injuries that are going to have these riders out following their crashes at Anaheim 1. Dylan Walsh unfortunately crashed in qualifying, managed to get a handlebar into the abdomen region. He has a laceration to his small intestine. Unfortunately, that's going to see him out for the immediate future. Probably a 2 to 4 week recovery, depending on the size of the incision that was required to repair that intestine laceration. Travis Olander, a privateer from Australia, unfortunately had a crash in qualifying as well. Has a hematoma on his sternum. He'll be out for 1 to 2 weeks, depending on how quickly that will settle down. Carter Stevens, privateer in the 450 class on a Kawasaki, had a crash in the week leading up to Anaheim and was a bit sore. Then had another issue in qualifying and managed to jack up his neck, back, and ankle, only just with some sprains. Banged up is a term that gets thrown around a lot these days in Moto. He just sat out to try and recover. He will be back this week, hopefully. Logan Karnow, everybody's probably seen the footage of his ankle going around. It was pointing the wrong direction. We've checked in with Logan. At this stage, the information is not up to date. He's still waiting on some more information around medical examination, so we don't have a complete diagnosis on Logan, but he will be out for the immediate future. Lux Turner in that 250 class on the AEO Power Sports KTM, unfortunately sustained a hip and pelvis fracture. Depending on the severity of both of those and the location of both of those within the hip and the pelvis, we'll see him out for probably somewhere 8 to 12 weeks. But like I said, depending on the location, we might see those things back a little bit sooner. Vince Friese in the main event, unfortunately went down whilst trying to pass Dean Wilson. He has sustained what we believe to be an AC joint sprain or a shoulder separation, which is your collarbone meeting your scapula, where the collarbone sits up, does a bit of a springboard action if you push on it. Unlikely that this will take him out for too long, but he might be at least 1 week. Now, it depends on the severity of these. You can tape them down really well and get through. Others take a bit more reduce the stability of the shoulder and take a bit more time. So we'll be watching that one to see if he's there this weekend or not. We expect him to be missing at least this week. Some crashes from Anaheim 1 that seemed to cause injury, but then didn't result in anything that seems to be long-lasting. Nate Thrasher had a decent crash, was taken off with the Alpine Star Medical Unit. Looked to have something to do with his shoulder, maybe an AC joint, maybe a collarbone, maybe a dislocated shoulder. But it seems that he is A-OK. The team has reported that he is up and riding this week already and will be at round 2. Hunter Lawrence, Freddie Noren, Cooper Webb. I'm going to lump these guys all in as one. They all had some crashing moments in the night program at Anaheim 1. All seem to hit head first at some point in those crashes. Cooper Webb face planted. Hunter Lawrence had some facial bruising that was reported in some other media updates across the night and since then. All of these things bring me to what I call the concussion discussion. There is an AMA protocol that goes around with the concussion, but it seems to kick in once there's a concussion confirmed. There needs to be more testing prior to this, and if these guys Freddie has some facial bruising. Hunter had some facial bruising. Cooper, we don't know on that side of things, but he definitely hit face first. I would like to just see all of them have to go through a little bit of a screening post that event. Once that race was finished, they all seemed to get up and continue, which is fine. They obviously didn't seem to have immediate symptoms visible. But a follow-up post-race where they just had to go and get checked would have been wonderful to clear them and make sure that they don't have to do a reduced program during the week to start following what would be an updated version, in my opinion, of the concussion protocol that the AMA rolls out. So just something to watch there with that side of things. Whenever somebody hits the ground with their head, in other sports, they all get a little concussion test done immediately. Our sport's a little bit different in that sense of a single person in a race. But there still needs to be more that could be done in this space. So it's my way of trying to put some effort into improving the protocols here in the AMA and our sport in general. All right, some updates from the recovery path. We managed to see some updates from Ty Masterpool on the morning of Anaheim 1. He's up and cycling on a stationary cycle bike, which is fantastic. Obviously, Ty had those issues with his appendix at the end of the season last year through motocross and then into Supermotocross. He had that surgery to remove the appendix. They found 2 hernias, he reports, whilst that was going on. So those required repair as well. But he also had some ankle issues that were previously existing, and he got some work done on those while he was in that recovery period. That is what's holding him out at the moment. He's about 2 to 3 weeks away from being fully returned to riding racing. So hopefully not too much longer for Ty Masterpool on the sidelines. Another one from that same team, it's HBI Kawasaki. Caden Braswell has unfortunately had a knee injury in December or thereabouts that has caused him to have a reconstructive surgery. He will be out for the immediate future, but he is doing all he can on the recovery path as well. His updates are on his socials as well. That's the updates for this week following Anaheim 1 as we head into round 2 at San Francisco. Make sure you hit that like button below, subscribe. If you haven't heard the AlwaysMoto podcast, which is a long version of these in emergency department YouTube videos, check that out on your favorite podcast player. Thanks to Leatt Moto Australia. We'll catch you on the next episode.